If you struggle with arrangement and you just feel like every beat you make is the same beat over and over and over again, no worries. I have a video that will literally solve your problem. So this is the video. So thank you guys for hopping in. If you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. Smash that like button to extend that S. But we train over 1 million producers around the world. Some have gone to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Trippie Redd, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Glorilla. Some have won Grammy, some platinum plaque. Okay, so let's start with understanding what arrangement is. Here's the fundamental issue you guys run into. So firstly, you might drag in a drum loop. Let's just go to busyworksbeats.com/blueprint, because in here we have drum breaks. I use these all the time when I'm playing with my son, for example, and we just need something in the background. So let's go to 78 BPM. Let's go to 78. Boom. Drag this in. So here's, loops are one of the issues, but it's not loops that are the problem. It's the way we go about the loop. Okay, so we're going to loop this. So this is 78 BPM. Let's loop it 4 times over. So now we have our rhythm section. So now you're like, okay, you're inspired. You feel like you caught the bug for music production, and now you want to record some bass. So I'm going to record these sounds from my keyboard just so it's faster here. But now let's record some chords. Okay, let's play some chords over top of this track. Let's do like... So something like that. I'm just going to record random chords. There's no rhyme or reason to it. In fact, let's actually switch the instrument here. All right, now let's listen to these drums while we record the chords. Okay, so now we have 8 bars. Now, some people don't even have 8 bars of chords. So now we're going to categorize this. It's very, 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 very important to categorize your sections of your song. These are your puzzle pieces. I'll say these are your intents for your puzzle pieces. And the more puzzle pieces you have, the better you can arrange stuff, because most people just run out of puzzle pieces or they don't know where to put the puzzle pieces. So here we have the harmony section. This is our chords. Now, if I just copy this all the way through the track, it's not going to really feel like it's doing much, but just repeating itself. Now let's go in and let's add a bass line, for example. Now let's record this bass line. All right, so now we got the bass line in there. Now I recorded a lot, whereas most people might just have 4 notes just repeating over and over and over and over and over again. That's why your beats, you can't arrange the same thing over and over and over again. There's no change. So here we're labeling this the contrast layer. The layer we have left here is called the top line. So now we have a whole layer that's missing, which is the main melody for this song. So the contrast layer can be either a bass or counter melody. Your harmony section is for your chords of your song. Your top line is usually for the vocal and the melody of your track. And the rhythm section is for your drums or your rhythmic instruments, okay? These 4 components build up every single song. So now we just need to find a melodic element for my keyboard here. So let's just record that. Ding, 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 ding. just as simple as that. Now, here's the issue most people run into is they are like, okay, I have the 4 components. Now I'm just going to copy and paste them all the way through the song. And even worse, some people, they'll copy and paste, but they'll remove certain parts. So you might be building up a lot of energy and then remove the bass, for example, and the beat feels really hollow. So here's what it might sound like. Now listen for this section right here that's missing the bass. I'll label these. Now see the bass changes? I even added like octave jumps in there to switch it up on the second half of the bass, whereas most people would just repeat the same sustain notes the entire time. Now here, listen to when the bass drops out. It's like we lost energy. Okay, so here's where most people get stuck. Okay, they're like, okay, I created 8 bars, 16 bars, but where do I go from here? So I like to think of it as 2 main sections. You have your A section and your B section. Now, what separates the two is either swapping out the sound, the way you play each component here. So for example, instead of me playing the bass like with playing the root notes the entire time, which is, let me switch back to my bass. So instead of me just playing, I can play a little more expressive, so it's like I could play jumpy, you know, I could play rhythmically. There's a lot of things we could do to just switch it up instead of playing the same notes over and over again. But I'll give you guys a key. On top of these 4 components, you have what are called expression layers. These layers allow you to add stuff without clashing, okay, that makes stuff feel different without changing the core identity of a sound. So for example, even if we clone this same exact thing over, what we could do is add top line expression things. So what is expression? Expression is me speaking like this when I don't have to speak this dramatically. I could just speak normal, okay? Whereas a harmony expression might be a pitch bend on your notes like this. Okay, so the same with contrast expression, you could do octave jumps here. Okay, a lot of things. So you're just being a little more expressive. Usually the pitch range increases and the way we go about volume modulation increases as well. That's what these expression layers are, an exaggeration of what's actually going on. So for drums, that could be, you know, a hi-hat roll, for example, instead of just, or it could be a snare flam. Okay, so it's just exaggerating what is here. Or we could add a new sound. So now I'm gonna go through. Let's pull up my plugin here. Let me turn my MIDI back on. So for example, I wanna add a harmony expression layer. Let's go to busyworksbeats.com and find the Hercules plugin. If you get this message, just click over the tab over and go back. Let's go to pads. And now we need to find some kind of pad that could sit over top of this track. So again, you need to know the music that you actually played, and now we're going to play either an extension chord, a harmony chord that is harmonious with the chord we played. Okay, so I played A minor. And then we want to add what's called a pitch bend that usually grabs the ear. You don't have to always use pitch bends, that's just my favorite thing to do. So that would be a harmony expression layer because we're adding that as an exaggeration to what's already going on. So I'm just going to mute my mic and pick some sounds and play some chords to accompany the chords that we already have. Now we can go back and adjust the notes on the chords. All right, so what I'm doing is giving new information to the song. We can arrange this by adding this over to our B section. We can completely remove the original chords, or we could leave them there so we have context. So what I'll do is I'll go back and record some E piano over top of this. So as we can now hear, there's clashing in the actual chords here. So let's remove some of this. So this is where you got to use your ear, guys. There's no like right or wrong. The main thing is we're doing the chords differently. So in the beginning, we just played strummed. Here we're playing like reverse strum. Okay, so now we have two similar things playing the same exact chord progression, but they're played slightly differently. That small change allows us to arrange it because now it's a new puzzle piece. So you have to think in terms of the intent of a sound, where it goes, and how many puzzle pieces do you have. Now this expression layer sounds out of key with that chord progression because it has to be these chords. Now, because there's a lot going on, we could take out things like the top line, so it's not as ear fatiguing. Now the last chord needs to be fixed. I'm just gonna delete it. And we're gonna turn this down. So we don't need to make this a main instrument, it's just an expression layer. And you might even redo the bass for this part with a different instrument completely. So let's use a different instrument for the bass. Hopefully you guys are seeing what I'm saying. We're swapping out the parts. You gotta have different sounds for different things. Let's bring our keyboard back in. Let's record more of like a sustain type bass. Oh my goodness, bruh. FL keeps, FL just, they need to get it together with this recording situation. All right, here is this. Let's do it again. Boom, record. Okay, I know what this is. I played a dominant chord. I forgot I played that chord. So let's go back and add this dominant chord into this sound specifically. That's why this sounded off. Let's record from here. All right, now we got this. It's a little hard to hear it, so let me turn it up a little bit. So I want you guys to just feel the music and not worry about specific, here's 8 bars, here's 2 bars. That's, if you don't have enough puzzle pieces, no amount of like making an intro, chorus, and a hook will even energetically make sense. So you can move around the title of something, but you're not moving around the actual contents of something. So I'm showing you guys how to build the actual stuff you need to arrange. Okay, all comes down to these 4 components. So now I'm just going to go in and just produce. So, okay, just to keep it simple, we had the A section in the beginning. What changed from A to B is the way I played the chords. That's it. The only thing that changed from here to here is the way that I played the chords. That's it. So it creates a different vibe. Also, too, the bass is a little more jumpy because I added more in between notes using the perfect fifth and the octave. Okay, so we get more of a performance over here. The difference in performance. Okay, then the section here is just leading into this third section where we're just changing out the chord sound completely, removing the top line, adding a different bass line. So this is what you guys need to do to make longer arrangements if you feel like your song is stuck. It's not about memorizing intro, hook, 8 bars, 16 bars. That's not what it's about. It's about adding enough puzzle pieces to actually make a picture out of it. So let's add some more instrumentation over here. I'm using my plugins at busyworksbeats.com/black. This is called Halo 3D. This is a nice bell tone. Literally, we could be here all day just adding more and more instruments, changing up the rhythm. Might even remove the drums for this part and really focus on rhythmic instruments. So we just threw this beat together, but you guys can see how these different pieces, I'll play this one more time through, but really focus on the pieces to the puzzle. right, so again, we can sit here and make an entire beat. That's not really the goal of this video. Is to show you how many puzzle pieces you need, how to use the 4 components, and how to create expression layers so that you can expand on your components. That's the system. If you want to learn more, go to busyworksbeats.com/premium. All right, guys, subscribe if you're new. Peace.